So, again, you're a researcher yourself, David, and we are also seeing how consumers do research when they're looking at goods and services. Was there anything in these categories in terms
Yeah,
of the timing that consumers execute in terms of researching some of these things for the move? Some things are really far in advance
yeah,
of their move, even the beginning of their move journey.
yeah. No, I think this is very much an important thing that we have we have found on this research, and we saw it last year as well, that there's a significant number of the new movers who are doing their homework ahead of time, and they're doing their research. Perhaps on the obvious things like mortgages, but home insurance, as we've got listed here, but they're doing this, you know, uh, 3 or 4 months in advance. So we're finding about half of the new movers are doing their research for these kinds of services in advance prior to the move. This is certainly also, conversely, an opportunity here. This means that the other half are not necessarily doing it prior to the move, and perhaps that's a group that if you can find them and quote educate them a little bit better, provide them information ahead of time. They will be better prepared, better organized, maybe feel better about where they are headed if they are able to look into things like home insurance and moving services and inspections ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean, clearly the moving services data didn't surprise me coming
Right,
from,
of course.
the moving and storage
Right.
industry. And even when I was CMO at Pods, I was always so surprised at how far in advance people booked their moves. And
Right.
that was always very surprising to me. Um, I don't know, David, how much you know about the origin of V12's data and the audiences they create for customers, but being a division of Porch, they have the advantage to have this unique data that they get from Porch Services, who does provides home inspection software to home inspectors. And it's such an amazing advantage they have at the, I'd say, the early tenure that they get data to form these audiences. And you can see from this slide why it's so important to leverage a partner who is able to have access to that data so early. And we're just showing a few examples here of industries and where people make those decisions. And I think if you go to the next slide, we have a more in-depth look
Yeah.
at probably 4 times as many industries or product cohorts, I guess you could say, and how they make those decisions and when they look. And again, to me, it's the percentage combined of, I'd say, if you look at the bottom of this chart for those in the audience, the dark blue is the decision made prior to moving, the gray is within the first month of moving, and then the orangey color is after moving. And if you put together prior to moving or within the first month of moving, if I'm a marketer, I'm thinking, okay, I've got to reach all these customers who are prior to moving or within the first month of moving before they move, as they're, again, doing their research and thinking about, these different products or services and if they will have to make a change. And so again, whenever I see this research, and I've been seeing research like this for some time, I'm always so surprised at how many decisions are made prior to the move, which for marketers, again, means you've got to get hold of this data to be able to market to your consumers who are in their homeowner journey well in advance of that move date.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, Lucy, so if you take the blue, that's kind of listed from kind of top to bottom. So, at the top, perhaps obviously, moving services. People need to do that prior to the move. But it also includes, worrying about their finance and banking needs, the roof repair, automobiles, solar, healthcare. All of these things are items and services that the new movers are doing, prior to the move, and that may be, several months prior to the move. And then when you look in the middle, that the gray area, that turns out that most the things that are done the most are kind of at the bottom. And again, these may be kind of obvious, within the first month of moving: internet, utilities, cable, all of that is probably pretty obvious. But then things like furniture, home security, home improvement, these are things that the new movers know they have to tackle fairly soon after moving. Within that first month, they have to be able to function. So for marketers to be able to approach the new movers and say, here are all the things that you need to be worrying about. And probably, if you can, why not try to be worrying about this, educating yourself in advance of, moving date.
Yeah. Yeah, this slide always surprises me, or this data, I would say, always surprises me. So if you're one of our folks in the audience today and you see your category listed to the left, really take note that it's really that pre-move marketing and well in advance of that move-in date. That's really important to start your audience targeting and messaging, to those movers, and especially your current customers. I think it's most important, especially when I look at the service providers here listed in the left as well.